95.
Mine would say 9. Hey, shut up.
Okay, you guys, we're getting started.
What numbers are we doing?
Hold on.
Okay.
So,
What numbers?
what's this? Not a number. What's this line called?
Graph. X-axis.
X-axis. What's this line called?
Y-axis.
Guess what happens if I do this?
Z.
Okay, guess what that axis is called?
The A.
It's called the z-axis. And guess what it represents?
Third degree.
Okay, the third dimension. So it's supposed to be coming out at you. The depth.
It's going from
Okay.
front to back, not down.
It's kind of hard to draw in 3 dimensions on a 2-dimensional surface. They kind of have to draw, do you see it? They kind of have to draw boxes to make it look right. My drawing is perfect in every way.
I didn't know what we were talking about, so I looked at it.
You can put like triangles on these and then put like a curve on that one. Like on the ends. It'll make sense if I did it.
Okay, it's page 95, 1
Oh
through 2.
yeah.
1 through 10?
Should we say 1 through 2? And then there's
1 through 2? 1 through 2.
Comma.
Oh man, why are we going crazy?
Wow.
We got bamboozled.
Yeah.
5 through, I think I put 14.
And then
That's
that's it.
not bad.
Yeah.
That's not hard.
Oh, that's not
Uh,
That's so.
We'll see what you say after we're done. We got a couple of formulas that we're learning today that you're gonna have to have memorized
Oh,
for the
alright.
test, which is probably like a week from tomorrow.
Oh my,
Ow.
this looks so bad.
We have a couple formulas we're gonna have to memorize. Yeah, it's kind of hard to draw this really well.
Draw cube.
So, go ahead and look at number 1, I guess, on page 95. Is everybody there already?
Yeah. Dog.
You got 8.
So they had to draw like a little 3-dimensional box there to kind of show what C is. So let's start with A. Now, oh shoot, I said that wrong. Guys, my bad. This one that's coming out, I don't know why they did this. This one coming out at you is actually the x-axis.
Then what's the?
the top one.
So then they just changed everything up.
That's.
Yeah, they changed it up. So, my bad. The one coming out at you is the x-axis.
It just rotated.
Yeah, they rotated it. Anyways,
Why?
to name point A, you're going to have to use 3 coordinates for these. So, on the x-axis, what's the x value for point A on number 1?
Wait. 0.
0. Do you guys get why that is? Because it's not coming forward, it's not moving backwards, it's right on the y-axis, so the x value is 0. So you would put parentheses 0, comma. What is the y value for the
4.
for A? 4. Because it's 4 over here. Comma. What is the z value, the up and down value?
0.
0. So that,
Why is that?
Jordan.
because the z-axis is up and down, and it's not moving up and down.
Okay. Oh.
And the x is front and back, and it's not moving front to back either.
Dude, I can smell your burn. That's disgusting.
What does it smell like? Like I always wanted to know.
Dude, it's like warm. I don't like it.
I don't like
It smells warm, but it smells what?
Disturbing.
That's kind of. I mean, it's cool though, right?
it. No.
Okay, on
Like moist. That's
on point B, what is the x value? How far forward is it coming?
Negative 3.
It's positive towards us.
That's coming forward.
If it's coming towards us, it's positive. If it's falling away, it's negative. So positive 3. what's the y value? That's left or right?
Negative
Negative
one.
one.
Negative 1.
Shut up.
And then what's the
Yeah.
z value? That's up and down.
0.
0.
My head hurts. What?
I wish my parents still loved me.
No one cares about your
Still?
problems.
Did they ever?
No one cares. Not your parents don't care. Alright.
Wow.
C. Okay, C. So let's start with the x.
Negative 2.
It's going, C is going backwards too, like back into the background. So yeah, it's negative 2. And then the y, how far left or right is it going?
3.
Negative 3.
2.
It's
Negative.
going left 3.
Negative.
Negative.
So negative 3.
Up 2.
And then it's going up 2.
David,
So
how
positive 2.
how
What
is
is the
that
point
gonna
of
be?
This isn't really that.
Wait, how do you find out what the first two numbers
One,
are?
two.
Like, I can't tell
First
just
two
by
numbers.
looking.
Wait.
So the x is front to back.
From back.
Yeah.
Wait.
So if it's
Hot.
coming forward towards us, that's a positive x value.
Yeah, I got like a positive and negative, but how do you tell
Oh,
what,
is
like,
it where
what
the
number
daughter
is
touches?
on? Like, I can tell this one's like disconnected, but I don't
Ask
know,
me.
where you like,
Are you talking about the C point?
yeah,
You saw number 1.
yeah.
Well, we just finished number 1. yeah.
What?
What was the answer?
Dude.
Okay, that 3
Okay,
answers.
what was the last one?
So if you look at the box, see how it goes backwards too? Like
Where it touches the
from
line.
where it touches the line.
Oh.
So,
So I never read by this, find out that it's actually.
well, you find it right there. So
Pedro
that's backwards too, and then it's backwards. So that's where the negative 2 comes from. And this goes left 3, so that's left 3. Because these are, everything's matches. So that's left 3. Since these are up 2, that's up 2. Alright, number 5. Alright, here comes the formulas that you have to have memorized. I don't know exactly when the test is, but I'm going to guess it's like next Friday. And you have seen these before. I don't know if I made you memorize these or not, possibly not. The first one is called the distance form. Okay, now in chapter 1 we had distance equals rate times time for like, you know, the jets or the trains or the whatever. This is called the distance formula though, and it's to measure the distance between 2 points on the XY coordinate plane. And it looks a little something like this.
Oh, that looks terrible.
X minus x squared plus y minus y squared and the square root of all that.
Wait, I remember doing all of like doing it, I don't remember using distance.
And yeah, it's the distance between 2 points on the plane. I think I accidentally wrote this on the board in chapter 1. I was like, whoops, never mind.
Oh, whoa. That's a lot of numbers.
Okay, the little 2 and the little 1 down below the x and y just means like the second x, the first x. Okay, and then there's also something called the midpoint. Yeah, you guys kind of remember that?
No.
Okay, one does. So anyway,
Well, he's not.
so here's an example. Like if I had these 2 points, how do I find the point that's right between those two? Basically, you just average the x values to get the x value. So it looks like this. To average 2 numbers, you add them together and divide by 2. And then you average the y values to get the y value. If it makes it easier, you might erase these little 2s and 1s. That might make it a little less confusing. Okay, it says find the distance between each pair of points and find the midpoint. So we're using the formulas. Here we go. Does it matter which order I subtract in on this? Let's start with that.
No.
If I did, like on number 5, if I did 4 minus 8 or 8 minus 4, does that make a difference?
No, because it's
Four
going to be
minus-
positive, because distance can't be negative.
Well, 4 minus 8 is negative 4. 8 minus 4 is positive 4. But what happens when I square it?
He times it by itself.
It becomes 4 times 4, negative 4 times negative 4, becomes 16. So the order doesn't matter. Does the order matter in addition? No. So really these little 2's and 1's don't matter, it's just, doesn't matter. Alright. Here we go. Plugging stuff in. So I'm just gonna do 4 minus 8 and 6 minus 3.
Do you want us to show work on this? Or?
Yeah, you need to show something on this. It's too big. If you show this, that's enough.
Wait, why add?
Wait, on everything? Like on the evens?
The medians, yeah. So this would be 4 squared, which is 16. This would be 3 squared, which is 9. 16 plus 9 is 25. Square root of 25 is 5. So 5 is the distance between those 2 points on the plane. The midpoint. So instead of subtracting on this one, we're adding and dividing by 2. So it's 4 plus 8. Let's circle that. 4 plus 8 divided by 2, comma, 6 plus 3 divided by 2. 4 plus 8 is 12, divided by 2 is 6. 6 plus 3 is 9. 9 divided by 2 is 4.5, or you can just leave it as 9 halves. That's answer 2. You guys understand why this is an ordered pair and this is just a number?
Mm-hmm. Distance can't be an ordered pair, because it's...
Yeah, so what we're saying here, let me make a quick sketch. 4, 6, 8, 3. Let's do this. On our first answer, we're saying what's the distance between these two? Like from there to there is 5 units, 5 steps. On the second part, whoops, the midpoint. On the second part, we're saying what the midpoint is, which would be a point right about there. But we're just giving the 2 coordinates for the midpoint. The x-coordinate is just the average of these 2 x-coordinates. The y-coordinate is the average of these 2 y-coordinates. The distance formula is basically the quadratic formula. Worked around. Okay, any questions on 5?
Nope.
Number 7, distance formula. So what am I going to plug in? Square root of x minus x. So 1 minus negative 3. Instead of putting 1 minus negative 3, you can put 1 plus 3. Minus the negative makes a plus. And plus in between the parentheses, 6 minus negative 4. Or 6 plus 4. 1 plus 3 is 4. 4 squared is
16.
16. 6 plus 4 is 10. 10 squared is
100.
100. So we got the square root of 116. Does 116 have a square root? No. Can we simplify it?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, if you have a nice calculator, it should do this automatically. Okay, if you don't, you can borrow one, or you can do this.
Oh, fact.
The tree trick.
Garbage.
Let's see, what goes into that? 4 times 20.
No, 22.
4 times 29. So, and then the 4 is 2. So if you have doubles, that becomes a normal 2. That stays square root of 29. So it's 2 square root of 29. Okay, and then the midpoint. So we're going to average the x values, which were 1 and negative 3. So 1 plus negative 3 divided by 2, comma 6 plus negative 4 divided by 2. 1 plus negative 3 is negative 2 divided by 2, negative 1. 6 plus negative 4 is 2 divided by 2 is 1. Number 9. Square root for the distance. It would be 3 minus negative 2, or 3 plus 2 squared, plus negative 5 minus negative 1, or negative 5 plus 1 squared. So this would be 5 squared is 25. This would be negative 5 plus 1 is negative 4. Squared is 16. 25 plus 16 is 41. This square root of 41 simplify. No, 41 is a prime number, so it's not going to simplify. How long is the square root of 41? It would be about 6.3. Square root of 36 is 6, right? So I'm going to guess that's about 6.2, 6.3, somewhere in there. All right, anyway, the midpoint. So I'm going to average the x values. 3 plus negative 2 divided by 2, and average the y values. Negative 5 plus negative 1 divided by 2. 3 plus negative 2, 1. Divided by 2, 1/2. Negative 5 plus negative 1 is negative 6. Divided by 2, negative 3. Midpoint. Number 11. Almost done. Okay, the distance formula. You guys tell me, what should I plug in for the distance formula?
Negative 9 plus 1 squared.
Okay. Yeah, that would be the y's.
Oh, crap. Yeah,
That wouldn't really matter, but let's do the x's first.
negative 6 plus 2.
Negative 6 plus 2. Yeah, the order doesn't really matter, but
He's just gonna get it right.
You know,
A negative 9 plus negative 1.
oh, aren't you?
well, it's negative 9 minus negative 1, which makes it negative 9 plus 1. So yeah, be careful. It's a minus in the parentheses, but it's a plus between the parentheses. You gotta be careful on that. Tricksy. Negative 6 plus 2 is negative 4 squared.
16.
Negative 9 plus 1 is negative 8 squared. 16 plus 64 is 80. Does that simplify?
No. Oh, yeah,
Yes, it does.
4 squared.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm gonna kind of do the fast forward here. If you don't have a calculator,
Get one.
get one. Join the 21st
But
century.
4
So,
reduces.
yeah, it's 4 squared 5. It does reduce, but you get 2 and 2, and it'd be 2 times 2.
Oh.
Don't challenge the calculator.
No. Shut up.
I said it.
Yeah, so I'm kind of cheating, Nick. I'm not going all the way to the bottom because I already have a double right there.
Thought you were a man of integrity.
Well, you were wrong.
When in Rome, do like the Roman.
You were mistaken.
Mr. Jordan gets the job done no matter the cost.
Yeah. So, and then on the midpoint, we got an average. So -2 plus -6, divide by 2, comma, y values. -1 plus -9, divide by 2. So this would be -8 divided by 2, -4. This would be -10 divided by 2, -5. Okay. You guys ready to have your mind blown on number 13, 14?
I'm not yet. Just like give me a second before I lose it.
Yeah, it's not as hard as you might be afraid it is. It's kind of the
So when you
same.
say something like, "Are you ready for this?" like implies that it was gonna be difficult.
Yeah, I was just trying to freak you out. Yeah, 13, it's not that. It's pretty much the same thing. Guess how the distance formula changes?
You just add another one for.
Plus z minus z squared, yes. Guess how the midpoint formula changes?
You just add another one for z.
Comma, z plus z divided by 2. So it's pretty much the same thing.
Just
Doesn't-
add another thing.
Add another, yeah, so what this is missing is, I'm not gonna make you memorize the other one. The reason I make you memorize this is because it will be on the ACT. So you have to know it. Anyway, yeah, so just pretend there's a plus z minus z right there. And we'll do number 13. And the ACT does not have three-dimensional stuff. But, college algebra will, so we'll do a little bit of this. All right, anyway, 2 minus 6 squared plus 5 minus 7 squared plus 1 minus -3, or 1 plus 3 squared. So this would be 4, -4 squared is 16. This would be 2, -2 squared is 4. This would be 4 squared is 16.
So 36.
36. What's the square root of 36?
6.
Nice and pretty. 6.
Not like.
Not
Yeah,
everybody,
that was very
not
unnecessary.
everybody can be a pretty boy like you
I know.
Look at that.
You would
That
consider David
skating
one?
brown
do. No.
tint.
I would never call anybody.
Like tinted.
Yeah.
I was just teasing. I was just messing with
So like, do people get like turn up their tint by like percent?
you. I would feel insulted if somebody called me that.
Tint, and then just like 78%.
Okay, and then we gotta find the midpoint, so I'm gonna average the x's. For the x coordinate, I'm gonna average the y's. For the y coordinate, I'm gonna average the z's. That's not gonna leave me enough room. 2 plus 6, 8 divided by 2. 5 plus 7, 12 divided by 2. 1 plus -3, -2 divided by 2. 2, 4, 6, 8.
Who do we appreciate? Not you. How can you be so organized?
That was very
I
neat.
believe
pointed
it
at
wasn't
you when
pointed-
you
It
said
wasn't
that.
pointed at him, it was pointed at you.
It did sound like you were talking about
I
me.
did, I didn't.
Well, it was still
Bad.
That was hurtful.
just kidding. I'm just jealous. The kids at extended care love me.